If your children ignore you, do this instead. Have you ever called your child 3 times and heard nothing? Have you ever tried to give advice, only to watch them stare at their phone, nod absent-mindedly, and continue doing exactly what they were doing before? Have you ever felt that strange ache in your heart? The feeling that the child who once followed you everywhere now barely listens to a word you say? So, you're not alone. Many parents experience this painful reality. They sacrifice years of their lives for their children. They provide food, shelter, education, protection, and endless support. Yet one day, they wake up feeling invisible in their own homes. The natural reaction is frustration. Parents often respond by repeating themselves louder, criticizing more often, demanding respect, or trying to control every situation. But here's the uncomfortable truth. The harder you push, the more distant your children may become. So if your children ignore you, what should you do instead? Today, we're going to explore a powerful approach that can transform your relationship with your children. Not through force, not through guilt, and not through endless lectures, but through connection. Let's begin. First, stop taking it personally. This may be difficult to hear, but when children ignore their parents, it isn't always a sign that they don't love them. Sometimes it's a sign of development. As children grow, they begin forming their own identities. They start testing boundaries. They become more focused on friends, personal interests, and independence. What feels like rejection to a parent may simply be a child trying to figure out who they are. When a parent interprets every ignored message as disrespect, they often react emotionally. And emotional reactions create emotional distance. Instead of immediately assuming the worst, pause and ask yourself, could there be another explanation? Maybe your teenager is overwhelmed. Maybe your child is stressed. Maybe they're distracted. Maybe they're struggling with something they don't know how to express. Changing your interpretation changes your response. And changing your response can change the entire relationship. Stop repeating yourself. Many parents fall into a cycle. They ask once, then twice, then 5 times, then 10 times. Finally, they explode. The child learns an important lesson. I don't need to listen until mom or dad gets angry. Without realizing it, parents train children to ignore them. If every request is repeated multiple times, the first request loses value. Instead, speak once. Make eye contact. Be clear. Be calm. And then allow consequences to do the teaching. For example, instead of saying, clean your room 20 times, you might say, your room needs to be cleaned before screen time today. Then calmly follow through. No yelling. No arguing. No endless reminders. Children often learn more from consistent actions than from repeated words. Replace lectures with conversations. One of the biggest mistakes parents make is talking at their children instead of talking with them. Think about it. How often do conversations sound like this? You need to be more responsible. You should work harder. When I was your age, you never listen. After a while, children stop hearing the message. The moment they sense a lecture coming, they mentally check out. Instead of delivering speeches, ask questions. Questions create engagement. Questions create reflection. Questions create ownership. Try asking, what do you think happened here? How could we solve this problem together? What would you do differently next time? How are you feeling about all this? A child who feels heard becomes far more willing to listen. Focus on the relationship before the behavior. Many parents become so focused on correcting behavior that they neglect the relationship. But influence comes from connection. Think about the people whose advice you value most. Why do you listen to them? Because they care about you. Because they understand you. Because you trust them. Children are no different. If every interaction revolves around correction, criticism, or instruction, they may begin avoiding conversations altogether. Instead, invest in the relationship. Spend time together without an agenda. Go for a walk. Watch a movie. Play a game. Cook a meal together. Talk about things that matter to them. Not everything needs to become a lesson. Sometimes children need a parent who simply enjoys being with them. Connection creates influence. Influence creates cooperation. Listen more than you speak. This is perhaps one of the most powerful parenting skills in existence. Listening. Real listening. Not listening to respond. Not listening to correct. Not listening to teach. Listening to understand. Many children feel ignored long before they begin ignoring their parents. When children feel that their thoughts, emotions, and opinions don't matter, they gradually stop sharing them. And when communication disappears, distance grows. The next time your child speaks to you, try something different. Put down your phone. Turn off distractions. Make eye contact. Give them your full attention. You may be surprised by what they reveal when they feel genuinely heard. Often, the fastest way to get your children to listen is to become better at listening to them. Become the example. Parents often ask, "How can I get my child to respect me?" A better question might be, "Am I demonstrating the behavior I want to see?" Children learn far more from observation than instruction. If parents constantly interrupt others, children learn interruption. If parents yell during disagreements, children learn yelling. If parents ignore family members while scrolling through their phones, children learn to do the same. The example always speaks louder than the lecture. Want your child to communicate respectfully? Communicate respectfully. Want your child to listen? Listen. Want your child to be honest? Practice honesty. Children are watching even when it seems like they aren't paying attention. Sometimes the lessons that shape them most are never spoken aloud. Don't chase their attention. This may sound strange, but constantly seeking your child's attention can sometimes push them further away. Some parents become trapped in a cycle of pursuing. They constantly text, constantly check in, constantly ask questions, constantly seek reassurance. The child begins to feel pressured, and pressure often creates resistance. Healthy relationships require space. Give your children room to think, room to grow, room to miss you, room to come to you voluntarily. This doesn't mean becoming emotionally unavailable. It means avoiding desperation. Confidence attracts connection. Neediness often repels it. Create an environment where your children feel welcome rather than obligated. Control your emotions. When children ignore parents, strong emotions naturally arise. Anger, hurt, disappointment, fear. But emotional reactions often produce emotional walls. A parent who explodes may gain temporary compliance, but they lose trust. A parent who remains calm gains credibility. The next time you feel ignored, pause before reacting. Take a breath. Give yourself time. Ask yourself, what outcome do I want? Do you want to release frustration or strengthen the relationship? The answer to that question should guide your response. Calmness is not weakness. Calmness is strength under control. Recognize their need for independence. Many conflicts between parents and children stem from a misunderstanding. Parents see resistance. Children experience a desire for autonomy. As children mature, they want a voice. They want choices. They want ownership over parts of their lives. The more parents attempt to control everything, the harder children push back. Instead of controlling every decision, offer options. Instead of commanding, collaborate. Instead of demanding obedience in every situation, encourage responsibility. For example, would you rather do your homework before dinner or after dinner? Would you like to clean your room now or later this afternoon? Small choices satisfy the need for independence while still maintaining structure. Children are more likely to cooperate when they feel respected. Praise what you want to see more of. Many households have an unfortunate imbalance. Mistakes receive attention. Good behavior goes unnoticed. Think about it. A child can do 10 things right. Nobody says a word. One thing goes wrong. Everyone notices. Over time, children may begin associating parental attention with negative behavior. Instead, actively recognize positive actions. Notice effort. Notice kindness. Notice responsibility. Notice improvement. Say things like, I appreciate how you handled that. Thank you for helping. I noticed your effort. I'm proud of your persistence. Positive reinforcement is not manipulation. It's recognition. and people tend to repeat behaviors that receive appreciation. Build trust, not fear. Fear may create obedience, but trust creates influence. A child who fears a parent may comply temporarily. A child who trusts a parent will seek guidance willingly. Ask yourself, does my child feel safe talking to me about mistakes? Does my child believe I will listen before judging? Does my child trust me with difficult conversations? If the answer is no, then the solution isn't stricter control. The solution is rebuilding trust. Trust grows through consistency. Trust grows through understanding. Trust grows when children know they can tell the truth without being destroyed by the response. The stronger the trust, the stronger the communication. Accept that you cannot control everything. This is one of the hardest lessons for parents. You cannot control another human being. Not permanently, not completely. Your job is not to control your children. Your job is to guide them, support them, teach them, love them, influence them, but ultimately they must make their own choices. The moment parents accept this reality, something remarkable happens. The pressure begins to lift. Instead of trying to force outcomes, they focus on what they can control. Their example, their communication, their consistency, their love. Ironically, letting go of excessive control often improves relationships dramatically. Reconnect through small moments. Many parents believe relationships are built through grand gestures. In reality, relationships are often built through small moments repeated consistently. A 5-minute conversation, a shared laugh, a ride to school, a simple text message, a sincere compliment, a hug, question about their day. These moments seem insignificant, but over time, they become the foundation of trust and connection. Don't underestimate small moments. They often matter more than major events. Remember what your children need most. At the deepest level, children need to know 4 things. I am loved. I am accepted. I am understood. I matter. When children feel these things consistently, communication improves naturally. Respect grows naturally. Connection grows naturally. This doesn't mean abandoning boundaries. It doesn't mean lowering standards. It means creating an environment where love remains stronger than conflict. An environment where correction happens within the context of connection. An environment where children know that even when they fail, they are still valued. Final thoughts. If your children ignore you, resist the urge to become louder. Become more connected. Resist the urge to control more. Build more trust. Resist the urge to lecture more. Listen more. Resist the urge to chase attention. Strengthen the relationship. Because the goal is not simply to get your children to obey. The goal is to create a bond so strong that they continue seeking your wisdom long after they no longer have to. One day, your children will be adults. They won't remember every rule. They won't remember every lecture. They won't remember every correction. But they will remember how you made them feel. They will remember whether home felt safe. They will remember whether they felt understood. And they will remember whether they felt loved. So if your children ignore you today, don't panic. Don't give up. And don't assume the relationship is lost. Instead, focus on connection. Because when connection grows, communication follows. And when communication returns, families heal. The strongest voice in a child's life is not always the loudest. It's the one they trust enough to hear.